Nice quick game now with an 1800 player. It's a 5-minute game. No way I'm going in for the 1-minute bullet chess that some madmen like to play. I can't play that game, I'm afraid. So it's just the opening that I like to use. I accept. He comes out with the queen. A better move is to, or a more interesting move is to come out with the knight. So what you do is you bring the knight out now. And now you've got two attackers on that. And so white now has to move from being an attacker into being a defender. So how would you defend that? And there's no good way to defend it. So he comes out this way, and yeah, I like the fish's advice and play that. I also consider this attack, but it seems that it leaves that open. What else can be played? I think that can also be played, d4. This can also be played, cutting off that square there from the queen. So that's probably a very bad move, and I think it's the one that really costs him the game. He doesn't get a chance to really come back after that move. Maybe he might have had a mild chance now, but he loses it. And now white has got the initiative. So he's on the attack and he's developing at the same time. Black is restricting the movement of his own pieces now. So this is really looking bad for black. I wanted to get the king into safety first. I didn't notice this right away. I wonder, yeah, but that's that looks like a pretty decent move according to Stockfish, eh? If we were to play it, that's his only reply. Wow. Can't he do something with the queen? Like, what happens if he goes to d6? Oh no, gosh. What happens if he goes to, nope, nope, nope. Right? So he runs into that. Wow. And then he has to sacrifice the queen. His best move is to sacrifice the queen. To defend. Sacrifice the queen in defense, not in an attack. Alright, so interesting. Anyway, I castle first. And then I attack that square. And I go after it like that, which is not ideal. It's different now because that square hits that and hits that, which is kind of what I wanted to do. But maybe this is better, huh? Because it also hits that square and prevents the black queen from being able to defend the pawn. So this is very important in the game, to make moves which stop your opponent being able to defend. So that move, although good, is not as good because it allows queen to d6. Nice move back with the knight. Very nice move back to hit that undefended bishop over there. I want to keep pushing forward. And now I'm looking at this square. He's way behind in development. He really does need to bring this knight out in order to attack the, my attacking piece. That knight is very, very strong. Very powerful piece on the board right now. And it's always got that, although I didn't see that in the game. It's a great move there with the knight. We've just got to try and remember those moves. The knight back. Agamemnon calls it the knight back move. All right, so we really want to develop our own dark square bishop. Why doesn't white consider pushing there? I mean, Stockfish says push there. I did look at it for a bit. But I kind of liked the idea of that bishop being stuck where it is. And my bishop is out now, although I was worried a bit about that. he can intercept. And by the way, that was the point of moving d4 because of this. And it's very nice, not always easy to see because again it's one of the knight back moves. And now this is the reason I wanted to show this game, is because it has this lovely concept of one piece providing the platform for another piece. So the knight provides a platform, a safety position, a defended position for that bishop. And that is what he decided to do. Sacrifice his queen. He saw that as the only reasonable defense. So he's got two minor pieces for the queen. Stockfish wants to hit that rook. I'm bringing the knight across because this is not protectable. Although what happens if it comes there, then the bishop takes out the defender. We remove the defense. So again, this concept of looking at the attack in terms of how is my opponent going to defend, and then to strip away that defense, to have things in place which will dismantle his defense. He doesn't want to give up the rook. Stockfish says that giving up another piece is the best option, so you know that this game is over pretty soon. He doesn't want to give up the rook, instead he prefers to impede the development of his own bishop. So you want to also avoid placing your minor pieces in front of your pawns like this. I mean, this was a reason that right in the beginning I was reluctant to bring the knight out to attack the queen, because it blocks the development of this pawn. But in the end I decided it was fine. So I'm coming out with the queen now. Develop your pieces, develop the queen. Even the queen sitting there in front of that pawn. I mean, you see, this rook would be lovely on that file if that file could open up. So putting the queen in front of that pawn is not great. You don't want to restrict the mobility of your pawns when they're on this in their early moves. You want to keep them mobile with the potential of being mobile. So anyway, I'm going to put my eyes on this. There's nothing there at the moment, but there's a little bit of pressure, which is why it's probably not the best move. You know, it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really do anything other than indirectly attack this, and then if that takes, and the queen takes. So that's what I was looking at. But look at this. Stockfish has got a notch. He's got an interesting idea. Do you see it? He wants to put the pressure on the knight. That's cool, isn't it? So let's just have a look at what the threat is. There's the threat to push away the defender of the knight. So where's the defender going to go? He's going to be able to go there, and then you can push him away again with that. So that's kind of the tactic that I guess Stockfish can see in one of its infinite lines. He attacks my minor piece. I did not see this move at all in the game, but it is a beauty, isn't it? I went for the trade. But you see, the trade is not as good because my knight, this knight is more valuable than that knight. That knight's on the ring dim. He can only go there, he can't go anywhere else. That's it. He's only got one square he can go to, and it's also covered. Whereas my knight has got all this attacking potential. You know, if the king was ever to go there, I've got to check. You know, so that knight's full of potential. So trading it off with this weak on the dim knight, I knew it was a problem, but I was running out of time here. Well, I wasn't running out of time, but I was getting low on time. Actually, no, I wasn't. The time says that I was on 4.5 minutes, so I'm actually doing pretty well on time. I thought I was well on time. But anyway, I just didn't want to think about it too much, and instead I went for the trades, knowing that he would too, because that's how he's kind of been playing. See, I want to play defensively, passively, and hold my position, Stockfish wants to come in with a counter-attack. He's fine. You know, he's fine. He wants to come in with this counter-attack. Where's the threat? It's threatening that rook. What happens if the rook just simply takes the pawn? Now you come down here with the threat of this. Wow, that's the threat. To create a mating net that black would have a hard time getting out of. So that's the threat. Black can respond quickly. He has to respond very quickly. He can't defend with that bishop because it's locked in. All these pieces, by the way, are off the board simply because of what he's done. I didn't do that. He did that all by himself. So he's got his only defenses to get the king out of there. Interesting how he changed you see? Interesting how that happens. The threat causes the opponent to do something to defend against that threat, and so then you change your tactics. Now you're going after the weak piece, which can't be defended at all now. So, except by that, and again, we just remove the defender, then boom, and his best play is to get rid of this. Why? Because it's defending this, which is stopping that. So a nice little interplay there of defenders and strikers there. I play defensively. This rook, because this one is useful here, and black could have counterplay there. If I was to move that rook out of the way, he could maybe counter with that. It doesn't do anything. I can easily to defend it, but you know, you don't want to give your opponent anything. He attacks my bishop and potentially opens the door for his bishop. I'm threatening checkmate now. There. He blocks the checkmate. Nice switch. Nice switch there recommended by the engine. Check, you can't block it. He's changing his mind to this. Wonder what made him change his mind. Interesting, huh? But I like the possibility. I just love it when pieces are hanging like this, and you've just got so much initiative that you just don't need to care about them. I didn't see this check at all. So once that diagonal opened, the king became vulnerable to the check. So let's go up there and see what happens. So he moves out of the way, and then you hit the rook. The rook has got not so many squares. If you want to develop the knight, now you can bring this in. He comes back, still hitting that queen. The bishop can't come back there anymore. I wonder why he didn't want to bring the queen there. Then he wants to open something up on that queen. So we take that square away from him. So that's what the pawn is doing, creating space and removing the possibility of that bishop moving out for that discovery. Although now the bishop can simply take the pawn, can't it? No, because the bishop is actually blocking. So that bishop is defending, remember? So we can attack it without any problems. And now the engine just doesn't know what to do, really, I don't think. He's getting a bit stuck, so we remove the defender. Beautiful. Look at this. Just highly mobile queen, but nowhere near. You see what's happened in comparison to that other thing that Stockfish found before, with the queen coming over here. You know, that just ended the game on the spot, but now I'm in this little battle here. So anyway, I found all this stuff too, but I just found it in a different order. So I'm hitting the defending piece, hitting the weak rook, taking the defender, attacking the weak pawn. Interesting. That was good, wasn't it? So you see I'm just going for simplification, but he wants to add more threat. So you don't move that right away, you keep it as a threat by pinning the pawn, so the pawn won't be able to recapture. But I take it so the pawn can recapture. I'm attacking that backward pawn. Now, I thought just leave the queen there, but then he resigned. Okay, so that's not a bad game.